A delicious dinner roll. I'm starting a batch of easy stir and drop rolls. So the first thing is to proof the yeast or make sure that it's still active. Alright, so into a bowl I'm going to put 1 cup of warm water. Now I don't need cool water and I don't need hot water, but I do need warm water. I'm pouring 1 package, and this is Active Dry Yeast, into the water. I'm going to give it a little stir just to make sure it's all wet so it can start its process. And we'll need to let it set for about 5 minutes. Then to the dissolved yeast, we're going to add 1/4 cup of sugar, 1 teaspoon of salt, and 1 beaten egg. Now just stir this together and let it stand while you sift 3 cups of flour. To the yeast mixture, we're going to add 1/4 cup of vegetable oil. I'm using canola, which is the oil I keep in my kitchen all the time and use for most things. And now we're going to add half the flour, which is 1.5 cups. And we're going to beat this until it's very smooth. To speed up the process, I'm going to use the electric mixer. Now I'm going to add the other 1.5 cups of flour. And I'm going to blend it well. Now I'm going to cover the bowl and set it in a warm place. And the warm place in your kitchen, in your home, may not be the same place that's the warm place in mine. But if I were cooking a meal, then I would leave it somewhere close to the stove. But I'm not cooking anything else right now, so I'm going to put it close to my wood stove, which I've got a fire going in. So I'm going to let the dough set, covered in a warm place, until it's almost doubled in size. Now that'll be anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour, hour and a half, depending on how warm it is. Our dough has doubled in size. I actually let it sit for about 2 hours because I was busy with something else. So I'm going to go ahead now and grease a muffin tin. I'm going to punch the dough down with a spoon. And drop the dough by tablespoons. Looks like it's only going to make about a dozen and a half. Now we're going to cover the muffin tins and let them set in a warm place until they double again in size. Our rolls have doubled in size, so it's time to bake them. I've preheated the oven to 400 degrees and we're going to bake them for approximately 15 minutes. Now some of these are going to be pretty thin. It's been a while since I used this recipe and I forgot. It makes the recipe, even though it's supposed to make 24 rolls, it makes 24 small rolls. So these regular size ones, it only makes about a dozen. Our rolls are out of the oven and they look and smell divine. Some of them are a little small because, like I said, I should have only made a dozen of these instead of a dozen and a half. But if you have a holiday meal coming up and you're going to be too busy for most homemade roll recipes because you have to spend time kneading them, these little stir-in drops will be the perfect thing to fix. Your guest will be amazed that you had time to make homemade rolls, and they will be very good for your meal. Thanks for stopping by.